On completion of the Self-Intelligence course, many students join the Self-Intelligence online community, where members get access to over 2 hours of weekly live integration sessions that involve guided self-recognition practices, awareness practices, and live support with me to hone the skills and habits they have discovered. Enjoy this excerpt taken from one of our weekly integration sessions. Not having the awareness of judgment erodes such beautiful things like relationships, communities, all sorts of things are reduced to something only the ego can handle when judgment is not seen. And when we first step in, oftentimes, not always, in self-recognition, it's a moment to just be removed from judgment altogether. And so as soon as you allow yourself, permit yourself to bring your attention here and now, there's a feeling quality to that, which is essentially just the absence of judgment. That which is aware of everything that is happening right now is not in a space of judgment. It's just accepting of what is, not accepting as a judgment, you see. Judgment is so intrinsic to our experience. The word acceptance is actually confused in judgment. I accept this. Oftentimes that's actually a judgment, because then you can see how quickly that same thing may not be accepted under a different circumstance or something taking place. But when you come into self-recognition, you are seeing acceptance is not a judgment. Acceptance is just the fact of being aware. And the judgment I'm speaking about is that which relates to the personal, not practical judgment. So judgment in the relative sense on a practical level is critical to living, actually. If you are not able to judge distance, if you're not able to judge between objects as they are and respect the nature of those objects and the manifested world, then you would not survive very long. You've got to be able to judge, for example, if you're up high and there's a drop that's down low, and you can judge that distance, for example, and you can see, well, if I walk off that, that's likely to be a disaster for my body. So these judgments are very important, and that will also come to judging a situation that you may feel in danger that may relate to people. You may not feel as you're walking down the street and there's a bunch of people that seem to be perhaps drunk or something like this, rowdy, maybe there's a sense of something's a bit off, that you can go, well, I'm not going down that street. And nothing needs to be personal about that judgment. So when does it become personal is when, one, you believe what your judgments are true, in particular relating to the should and shouldn't quality of judgment. So if you're walking down the street and there's a bunch of rowdy people that you don't feel quite safe around, you don't want to subject yourself to that environment, then if it's an objective situation, there will not be any should or shouldn't about it. There'll just be you maneuvering yourself away from that situation. That'll be it. That's where it ends. When it becomes personal is they should, they shouldn't, these people always, and all of a sudden this type of dialogue will start, and there will be the quality of a victim or something like that will start to emerge. I shouldn't have to be afraid right now. I shouldn't have to Now we're getting into the judgment that has personal in it. That's why the trigger log is there, and the words that we're looking for are very important. Should, shouldn't, what if, these types of things. So there is something that's happening, and then there is fear occurring. And to deal with that fear, you get this judgment. What fears have you noticed arise with judgment? Fear of. So something in the consciousness presents, and then a fear will be triggered. Fear of rejection, not being enough, not good enough. Yes. Fear of loss, fear of failure. Yes. Loss and rejection. Yes. Humiliation, being wrong. Absolutely. The unknown, not able to feel expectations of other people. Yes. is it clear to you that when life presents something and then you fear it, there's a quality of fear, right? So it won't always be the fear of rejection. It might be the fear of something else. There's a quality of fear that comes with that. Then the judgment comes, and the judgment comes as this should or shouldn't be happening in the most basic sense. So whatever's causing me to be afraid shouldn't be happening. Very simple, right? In that way. Now, those two things are very readily missed when it comes to judgment. They're skipped altogether. And what happens is what I'm judging is real. It's challenging when there's not the awareness to see there is fear. There is fear behind this judgment. This is not generally the first point of call when judgment takes place. Who has noticed that for yourself? That when judgment takes place, there's not this instant recognition there's fear there. So let's say someone's being a dick. This is a good example. Someone's being a dick. This sense of I'm afraid is not the first thing. It's just they're being a dick. That's what's happening. That's what's taking place. Not there's something in me that's afraid. So you guys are learning this. You guys are having this discernment that there's fear taking place when judgment is there. So love is the absence of fear and not personal love. The idea of love has some kind of want in it or some personalness to it. But actually, love just is your state when you're not in fear. That is your state. Your state is love naturally. So you don't have to try to love something or want something like this. This is not the case. And that's what's so confusing when people say, well, how do you be awareness? Like you'd get taken advantage of, blah, and these things. It's like, no, it doesn't work like that at all. What happens is you're not responding from judgment, which means responding from fear. You're responding from love, which is your fundamental nature is that. And so you'll be very natural in your responses. Your responses will be clear. And they may not be what people want, but they will be clear. Whether people want them or don't want them or whatever the case is, something feels right within yourself because it's coming from not a state of fear, basically. So being very aware of fear and the different qualities of fear is critical, if you like, in seeing what's happening with that judgment. Where is this judgment coming from? It's coming from a fear. What is that fear? Now, you guys have learned that one of the key fears is aloneness or loneliness, you see. So if someone presents in a way that you don't relate to or you cannot understand, why might that trigger fear? I mean, why might firstly that triggers judgment? You're not like me. You shouldn't be like that, you see. This person, just by their existence, is making me feel alone because I cannot relate to them. Just their existence reflects to me that I might be alone. And you will discover so much of the time judgment is coming from the fear of being alone. I cannot relate to you. And if I cannot relate to you, all of a sudden I'm not here with someone, I'm here on my own. How many times have you felt really triggered when someone has not acknowledged you or reciprocated some understanding, not understood you, these types of things, and then all of a sudden the judgment starts because this is how I'm going to protect myself from feeling alone. If I can manipulate you through judgment, through should and shouldn't, then maybe I won't feel that fear. This is not what is recognized straight away. If you would like to discover who you really are beyond the voice in your head and emotional states that cause relationship drama, stress, health issues, procrastination, sabotage, addictions, essentially all the drama and personal problems you can think of, come and join me for the Wake Up Experience, which is the first step in freeing yourself from the inside out. See the link in the description for more details. Now, the good person. Let's talk about that good person. The good person is trying to avoid judgment because they're so full of judgment. Now, what does that mean? that they're full of fear. There's so much fear there. Who can relate to this now? That with this good person, there's so much fear. The good person is not thinking there's fear. The good person thinks you should be a good person. That's as far as it goes. People should be good people, right? We should be good to each other. This is as far as that inquiry goes. But actually, the good person is riddled in fear and is very clever at working out how to avoid judgment, and finds themselves at the center of often of a lot of drama, actually, and wondering why I'm such a good person. I mean, I do everything to avoid judgment, and it somehow drama follows me. And what the good person wants to do is hide, because perhaps everyone is just, this is a dangerous world, and if I can hide away, I can just get out of this. You see, who's ever felt like I just want to crawl up in a ball and just get out of here? So judgment is behind this. Now the judgment there will go towards yourself. This way of being will become a self-judgment playground of shame and guilt, mistrust of self, second guessing. True expression may trigger judgment in others and in yourself. Those who are expressing themselves vulnerably will trigger judgment in others. Why is this? Yes, it's a mirror. Yes, it makes others feel uncomfortable. Yeah. So why does the judgment come? The judgment comes to say, can you stop doing that? Because you're making me uncomfortable. What is the uncomfortable feeling coming from? Fear. What is that fear? So when judgment arises, it's what is the fear? Who can relate to this in relationships, for example? You just tuck yourself away and I'll tuck myself away, and hopefully we can navigate each other without triggering fear. And all that happens is the toxic emotions that are then not able to be controlled just manifest everything we're afraid of. What you fear, you get, you see. There's a deeper awareness that says, you know what? Maybe it's better just to risk the judgment and not suppress. And that will probably work out better. Who is starting to come to this for yourself? Maybe it's better just not to suppress, because I cannot avoid the judgment anyway. I cannot avoid it. If I'm a good person, I'm judged. If I'm a bad person, I'm judged. If I'm a genuine person, I'm judged. I'm just judge. It's just it's unavoidable, let's say. And that comes through awareness, particularly in yourself. You are becoming acutely aware of this. Now, the self-judgment, let's go through it specifically. Because guys, people want relationships. Relationships are the most important thing to people, it seems. It's a very high value, let's say. And they want support. They want to improve their relationships. They want to do work on their relationships, these types of things. This is the work. Because what happens in relationships that stifles them is not being able to maneuver through things like judgment and fear. If you would like to download a free beginner self-recognition guided meditation audio to start your journey of healing and freeing yourself from the inside out, see the link in the description or go to selfintelligence.com. So many people say in romantic relationships, when they separate, they can go, oh my gosh, I feel like I can be free to be myself again. It's like, what were you doing then? What were you doing? I was in a situation where I was trying to avoid judgment. I was trying to avoid uncomfortable feelings the whole time. And now that it's gone, I'm free. I'm free to be all these things, you see, until a month later, and then you're back in your usual habit with everything. It's just not, there's someone very close to in your proximity doing that now. The freedom will go pretty quickly. And then it's just judgment to other things. And you cannot escape yourself. Who's discovered this? It's like wherever I go, it follows me. Travel is a good one though, and holidays, they'll give you a nice little escape, because there's a time frame. It's like between this month, in these 3 months, I'm just going to be free as a bird, and all of a sudden everything flows very well. And it's like, wow. And you can view everything, even rubbish on the ground, and crazy ways things happen, and you're just free of judgment. And it's like, wow, you're just in this mysterious place of acceptance, and things flow so beautifully. You'll notice there's a flow that takes place when judgment is not there. It's like the creek is flowing. There's no damn wall. It's like every judgment is a damn wall, just blocking it up. Block, 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 block. And you go, I feel stuck. I feel blocked. Yes, that's what you're undoing here. How profound is this, that you guys are here to unblock that through your willingness to see this so clearly, because your seeing will unblock it. You don't have to do any unblocking. The fact that you can see that you are the witness of it is the unblocking. There are billions of people on this planet right now. Be clear about this. Billions and billions of people on this planet right now that have no idea that fear is behind judgment. You are becoming privy to what's happening. And when you see what's happening, it loses its power. That is empowerment, to see things, to see them so clearly. How can they hold? They cannot hold in you. You're too powerful for that. You're so much grand. You're so much more expansive. You're infinite, actually. And it's just residing there in your infiniteness, this stuff. These blocks are nothing. So this is superpowers, you guys, gifting yourselves by being aware, very acutely aware, because that suppression within yourself, that misalignment that creates the shame and all of these self-judgments starts to loosen up in a big way. Thank you for listening to this episode. If you got value out of this, please share it so that other people can benefit also. For more information about self-intelligence, including joining my next Wake Up experience or detailed information about my self-intelligence course, go to selfintelligence.com.